All right, y'all, what's going on, WMMA fans? It's Combo Breaker 99 back with another video. All right, y'all. So, you know what? As a champion, these fighters, they really have to be careful how they word certain things or even answering certain questions. I've said this before. Whenever certain questions come up, sometimes fighters should just say, okay, yeah, that's good. Let's move on. Or just say, next question. Or, you know what, like, I haven't even thought of it. Let's just move on. Or just act like you didn't hear, just say, huh, what'd you say? Just keep saying that over and over till they, jump to the next question. But yeah, I just think sometimes, as a champion, you really do have to be careful because sometimes media, they'll take it and run with it. Or, fans in general, they only want to hear what they want to hear. You know what I mean? Even they do that on my channel. When I'm talking about certain things, they'll just pick and choose things I've said and then try to, take the words and rearrange it and say, oh, he hate this fighter, he hate that fighter, he bashing this person, when they don't even read the full context of it, And I think that might be the situation again here with Zhang Weili, when asked about a Valentina Shevchenko fight again or however it came up, I think at this point, when a question about that fight comes up, somebody like Weili, yeah, she wants to be friendly and, she wants to be cordial and respectful, so she'll answer that question and just try to give the best answer to make it seem like, okay, that's a fight she's not ducking, or at the same time, make it sound like, she just wants to be real with it and say, okay, yeah, that's a challenge I would like, which I agree. I can see that, any fighter wants to challenge themselves one day. I mean, look at Volkanovski taking on Islam, right? They're going to fight. That fight is already scheduled, right? But I can see somebody even like Weili wanting to take on somebody like Valentina one day, but I don't think that day is very soon. I don't think that fight is not even around the corner. So I think even like people around her have to tell her sometimes, say, when that name comes up, don't even mention it because fans are going to feel a certain way, or they're just going to think, oh, you're not built for that, or just leave it alone, right? Just leave it alone at the time being, because this one part I just read here about Zhang Weili, when asked about it, she said about Valentina Shevchenko fight, she said, I think it would be a great fight. It's one I've considered before. She's a very versatile fighter with a complete package. I hope it can be arranged whenever the UFC sees fit, okay? Which I hope they don't see it fit anytime soon. That's just my personal opinion. I hope they don't see it fit for another 2-3 years until Weili does all the work she needs to do at strawweight, all right? So this is something else she had said. Shout out to WMMA Rankings again. I saw part of it on an ESPN article, but they tend to have some more info here. Okay, so China Daily was they recently did a interview with her. She had a recent chat with them, and it says here, there's so many great fighters in the division at the moment, referring to the strawweight division. I don't have a particular name that I want to fight for now. I will wait for the call from the UFC to decide which one is more appealing. I'm all in. Okay, which, yeah, I respect that because as a champion, you don't really need to call out the fighters. Fighters need to call you out. And we pretty much know who'll be lined up next, and that's how it should go, right? And then, yeah, asked about the champion. She said she still has an interest in that. I think it would be a great fight. It's one I considered before. She's a very versatile fighter with a complete package. I hope it can be arranged whenever the UFC sees fit. Okay, so going back to the top, that's where she needs to be focused. At 115, like, that's where we need to keep it focused. That's where the matchmakers need to keep it focused. Who cares if she shows interest in it as of right now? Because even as a matchmaker, I believe you have to watch the fighter and see how far they've come, right? Because you have to kind of protect them from what could damage their career, in the long run, or damage it, in that one fight, right? Like, if Weili wants to fight, yeah, it would kind of build up her stock, but even the hardcore fans, even the casual fans in this situation, they know that this could be a career-damaging fight for her. Even if she could move back down to 115, like, I think the fight could really do some damage to Weili at this point in her career. Weili's getting better as a fighter. She's improving, and I think she's just starting to step out of the box, whereas Valentina, she owns the box. Valentina owns the box. She can do whatever she wants in the cage, you know what I mean, as far as anybody at flyweight. She's shown her skill sets. Like, she's shown how good she is in many departments. Weili is just getting her feet wet with that. What she did to Carla Esparza, we need to see her do to more fighters out there, right? So I think, it is a question that she just answered and she just wanted to bring up. But I think in the long run, she still needs to go on some type of win streak like Joanna and prove that, she is a dominant champion in her division. And I think I talked about this like 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, like 2 or 3 years ago, I think, man. Damn, it was a long time ago. Yeah, like I talked about this with Weili before, like her being in the strawweight division, like if she wins the belt, she's got to hold it for a certain amount of time and just clean out the division and prove that she's like somewhat bored. You know what I mean? She's got to kind of get bored in there where she needs that challenge. And I think that's what will help her step up to a Valentina Shevchenko fight. Like, completing that circle, complete that circle of hers, being that better fighter that she was before, the better fighter than that she was before, and then moving on after she's cleaned out the division and gotten to that boredom point in her division where she needs to take on a new challenge, right? And just prove worthy of it. Make people want to match him up now whenever you see her destroying Andrade in a rematch, or destroying Amanda Lemos, or destroying Mackenzie Dern, or finally getting some get back with Rose Namajunas, or, outlanding and outstriking Rose Namajunas at her own game, right? That's one of the reasons why Amanda Nunes is still talked about as, the GOAT. Like a lot of people say, she's considered the GOAT to a lot of people, even though Valentina, everybody makes that argument as well. Or people want to see that third fight, even though Valentina had lost 2 times, because they were still close decisions. People still want to argue that Amanda Nunes needs to give her a third fight. You know why? Because they are the best of the best. Weili is getting there, but she's still not considered that dominant fighter like both of those fighters. Nunes may have losses, but she's beat a lot of fighters at their own game. She hits like a truck, and, she just brings a lot of excitement. And, you can always depend on Nunes, even though she has lost a few times, to go in there and find a way to win, right? She does find a way to win. She can come back and be a better fighter. Valentina, I mean, what can be said? What else can be said? I mean, she's on a dominant reign at 125 right now. So I think Weili just needs to continue doing what she's doing at strawweight. Don't even to me, don't even mention that fight. Even if somebody brings it up, just say, it holds no interest right now. I got a lot of work to do at strawweight. Let's just keep it moving at strawweight first. And she's like, when I clean my division out, then we can talk. That's one of the things I do like about boxing. Whenever guys want to clean their division out, they say, look, I want to be undisputed here, and then we'll talk about the next weight class up. Because sometimes fighters will do that, or reporters will do that. They'll say, hey, what do you think about this guy here? And he's like 1 or 2 weight classes up. Well, sometimes they'll say, you know what, I want to clean my division out, and then, when I get ready to move up and weight, all right, I'll move up and weight. So that's how it should be with them. But it just seems like it could be something of interest to the UFC if they're just feeling money hungry. You know what I mean? Because Weili has a big backing, bigger than Valentina, right? But Valentina is the better fighter, so they got to take all of that in consideration. They just can't say, okay, because this fighter's popular, it's going to make a good fight. Not necessarily. Valentina, just like she said, is the complete package. So to me, Weili needs to become a complete package on her own, and then we'll match those 2 complete packages up, right? Because, I mean, really, to me, with Weili moving up to 125, I could see her beating some of the other flyweights, but what could she do to shut down somebody like Valentina Shevchenko? I'm just, literally asking that question. I'd like for some of y'all to answer that in the comment section here. I mean, we'll talk about it in a live stream tonight, or, whenever I put this video out, whichever comes out first. What could she do to really offset Valentina? That's the question. Like, is she strong enough? Would she be strong enough at 125? Because to be even somewhat of a thorn in Valentina's backside, you have to have what Nunes and Tyler Santos had. And I don't think Weili's grappling is up to that level like a Tyler Santos. She's got the grappling, the height, size, and the strength. All of this going for her to shut down somebody as quick as Valentina, somebody as quick and as sharp as Valentina, because that's what you really need. I really don't see Weili going in there and outlanding Valentina, or even out jabbing her, out striking her, because from the jump, she's going to show her that respect. She already answered the question and said that she's a complete package. So you're going to show a complete package respect right there when you give somebody props like that. Like even when Andrea Lee said Valentina's near perfect, when people come with those words, you know that mentally they're already in that position to show that fighter respect, and they're going to show that respect. So Valentina's already got that one up on her if they were to get into the cage, like next year. So yeah, to me, I'm not gonna bash I'm not gonna bash Weili on it and say, oh man, she need to shut up and just keep fighting, because I think she was just answering the question. That's all. I just think she was answering the question. She wants to challenge one day. I just don't think the challenge is right now. I just don't think that is right now. I want to see her clean out 115, go on a nice title reign like Joanna did, and then we'll talk, because that's what made Joanna's challenge against Valentina a bit exciting and a bit interesting. I knew Valentina was going to win the fight, but Joanna kind of had a chance in there. Whenever she moved up to 125 for that inaugural flyweight title, she had dominated strawweight for so long. Of course, she was coming off a loss to Rose at the time, but when she moved up to fight Valentina, she put up a good fight. She was strong in there. She landed some good strikes here and there. She made it competitive somewhat, So I want to see Weili just connect the dots, do everything she needs to do, beat these fighters that are really, really threats to her. Lemos, even Rodriguez, Namajunas, Andrade. At least beat 3 or 4 of those fighters and just stick it out at strawweight for the longest, until you get that chance to say, you know what, I'm ready now. I'm ready. So that's all I got on this one, guys. I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. Like I said, I don't really think it's like this thing where Weili's really feeling herself right now. It comes off that way sometimes, but sometimes when these fighters aren't speaking English, so a lot of things, even feelings, get lost in translation. So I think it's just another one of those situations where, she's just saying, look, it is something I want one day. I'm not scared like some of these other flyweights, and I'll take that fight. And yeah, eventually, if the UFC sees fit. But hopefully, like I said, the UFC doesn't see it fit for another 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. So let me know, guys, what y'all think. Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.